Welcome to this week's deep dive. This week, I'm so excited to welcome one of our founders, Charity Gibson. Welcome, Charity.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, always our pleasure. This one, it felt kind of right to have you on this one because this week on PromoChat, we actually celebrated our 100th PromoChat. So you've been around for a while now on this one.
Oh man, that makes me sound old, but 100 happened really quickly with PromoChat, so it's a year in our life.
Less than 2 years, around 2 years, it's fine.
Something like that, yeah.
Back.
It's all
Time
good.
just passed by like crazy. You're fine.
Oh, it's fine. It's all good. No, but again, no, seriously though, thank you. Honestly, it's been so much fun bringing PromoChat to PromoKitchen and to have all you guys on the team and watch where it's going. So it's so much fun to see it, how it's evolved to this. So thanks for having me.
It's funny because this week as well, our first deep dive video, which when we called it Follow-Up Friday and then didn't want to be tied to a date, we premiered our first Follow-Up Friday video. So it's kind of fun to see how it evolved, not just from the name, but it used to be just an audio podcast and we had Swag Sam asking the questions and then we brought on the PromoChat team. So it's always, considering our week before was talking about milestones, this was definitely a week of milestones and figuring out how we've grown, how we've adjusted, like pivoted, changed what we do. So, and then we brought back one of the OGs. So it all works out for us.
I love it. OG.
Perfect. Well, we had a wide-ranging conversation this week that went from collaboration to best promotional product to work-life balance to it just was fabulous. Near the end, it was just like, oh, wait, it's 45 minutes in? It feels like we just started because the conversations were wonderful. So I really suggest people go back and look at the PromoChat thread for that week. So this week, we had a hard time distilling it down, but we're going to go with this tweet. So we chose one where we got Bill Petrie who's one of our top PromoChatters, to come and give us a question. And his question was, how often do you communicate with your competition? Do you seek ways to not just communicate, but also collaborate? And you responded with, depends on the competitor. Although any communication is always friendly, we can go much further together than we can go on our own. We're always here to help the industry win, so if we can help others, help with orders, etc., we typically do. So this one I thought was really funny because just hours beforehand, you and I were actually collaborating together because I came to you asking you a question about flyers and promotions. So tell us what you think in terms of collaboration. Like, how often do you find yourself doing it? Where do you find this collaboration beyond just market research, communication, even just pairing products together? Like, what do you do?
Oh, yeah. So in my mind, collaboration is probably one of the top tools in our toolbox as both distributors and suppliers. So obviously as a distributor, it's funny, the quote that I tweeted out was that we can go, much farther together than we can go on our own kind of thing. It's an iteration of the quote that Danny Rosen always quotes. And I think it's really hilarious. That's how I started with PromoKitchen. Is Mark Graham and Danny Rosen reached out to me, fellow distributors, and hey, come collaborate with us on PromoKitchen. So right then and there, we're all quote unquote competitors in that space, working together not only for to put something together for us, but to share information and build an entire library of podcasts and news articles and things like that for everyone else in the industry that essentially competes against us. So just in its most simplistic form, that information sharing and helping everybody kind of elevate their game at that level, I thought was really interesting. And so that's how that's my nature, is just to be helpful to everybody. I don't see you as a competitor. I see you as a friend. And I also am not foolish enough to think that there's not enough business out there for us. If it doesn't come to us, we can go find it. We can build, make the pool a little bit bigger on our own. And so that's one. And then the other thing I've noticed being on the supplier side, it even happened yesterday. I got a message from someone asking a question about if I knew where I could get this particular product. I got a text message from someone completely different asking for that person because they thought that I might have the answer when that person had asked them. So even just yesterday, that kind of round robin around the supplier pool, I just find it super fun. And we get so many requests, it's really encouraging to me that someone will come to me and say, hey, Charity, I have a customer that I'm helping and they need, 5,000 of this, or they need a certain color. We don't have that in our line. And you're the first person I thought of. Do you have it? And can we work together? So our industry is built on that. Even if people don't see it, there's still like a fear-based mindset that, oh, I can't talk to my competitor or they're going to steal my ideas. And there's some of that that goes along and kind of comes around. I think for the most part, when you really get past that initial thing and get to know the people in this industry family, you realize that it's all about collaboration, and you really, really can go much farther if you're working with people that have been where you want to go and have the tools to help you get there.
Yeah, and it's so true. I think it's especially different on the supplier side.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're far, and I know this with a lot of my other friends who are suppliers, is that we're far more open with each other, and that openness can be, what do you do for flyers? What do you do for inventory? Like, how do you do forecasting? Like,
oh yeah,
or who's a good salesperson? Or on the even darker side is like, who do we avoid? Because we all say that.
It's really true. And if you're naive enough to think people, don't ask those questions, it's a very small industry, and it's not in a negative way at all. It's just we do have assets to protect in that case, but at the same time, we also have, like you said, resources that we can share, a CRM platform. I know that's something that maybe distributors wouldn't think that suppliers would struggle with, but you guys on the distributors, not you guys, but distributors have this, need for a technology platform for order management. And there's been resources that have come along, like obviously Sage has one, and Common SKU, and there's resources coming out for that. Suppliers don't have that. Like, we have either to custom build, or it's trial and error trying to figure out where the heck we could even just get a CRM to be able to manage our contacts. We're not sophisticated in that regard yet, but it's been helpful to reach out to a lot of different suppliers. I know I've reached out and talked about how do you manage your clients and how do you manage all of these databases. And then from the product side too, you mentioned just asking about resources, but we have suppliers sometimes that will run out of product, and we have a similar enough product in a similar enough price range, and they'll come to us and say, hey, you guys have this product, we're short, can we buy it from you? And and then it goes out, we give them whatever pricing is equivalent, but we're happy to do that. Or if they need something run on one of our presses because theirs broke, or who knows what. The really fun thing, at least about Peerless and things I've experienced about other suppliers who have also helped us out in a bind, is that there's so much collaboration that happens there too. A lot of sharing of resources. Obviously with us, it's a little different because we manufacture. I know that you're in that same boat where nobody really has what you have. Yeah. But on products where it is similar enough, or if it's a printing thing, transfers and things like that, it's really nice to be able to have people that get it, that we can form that kind of stuff.
And I think it's so much of, like, it's a community. Like, even if we are what can be considered like direct competitors, is that there's still this openness and this willingness to be like, and I really hope no one takes it the wrong way, but we're in this fight together. Like, the suppliers are in this fight together. But it's interesting as well, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, especially since you switched from the distributor to the supplier side, is how much more collaboration is happening between distributors now. And you can look at platforms like Common SKU and see immediately what was happening there, because Mark Graham's SKU community, I don't even know, I'm not even going to pronounce it properly. It's community, Common SKU community. And that's happened that way. But I've also noticed, I've had other distributors come and go, oh, I talked to so-and-so about another distributor, and they sent you to me. And I was like, and I can't say that in the past that would have happened in the same manner. So it's really nice to see. And I don't know if you would have a different idea of who to credit this for. Like, is this technology? Is this a younger generation who's more attuned to collaboration? Or have you seen this? Do you notice this? And what would you credit it with?
Oh man, so that's a good question. I don't know exactly. I think there's so many different tools that are fostering community in that regard anyway. So I think part of it is the technological advancements, like things like social media, where we are connecting to people who know people, and it allows us to be kind of like hyper network. So even though if we're going to community events, which is part of it, we meet somebody at the community event or regional association event, and then we're able to stay connected on Facebook, and we make a comment And I think by nature, people are very contributive, right? So we see something and at least I know you guys have seen this. I can't help but just, I'm so excited about this, or, hey, that happened to me too, because we're relatable. I think that's what technology has enabled us to do, is put ourselves out there a little bit more, which allows other people to say, hey, you know what? I've experienced that as well. You're not alone. And it's just continued to grow. So I would say the number one contributor to that is like just the enhanced communities. But I think, obviously that's a symptom, and the actual, not disease, but in a good way. I don't know what that would be, like the actual, the catalyst of that.
Better word.
A better word, way better word. Like the actual catalyst of all that is all of the different resources that are out there now, with the built with the intention of bringing people together.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
Trade shows, events, like you can't help but, have a beer with somebody and talk about that really cool coaster. I don't know. It's like there's a million different things.
It's interesting because like you and I talked about this on your new podcast, Badass Women of Promo. And we talked about like the value of a network and what does that mean? And the value of the network can be finding mentorship, can be finding a community, it can be finding even just, resources. My main complaint was like, if you can't find another woman to put on a panel, then that's your own issue. But, it can be a matter of like, you find a mentor, you find people who are in the same boat as you, or you find a collaborator. And I mean, I've paired with other suppliers in terms of different projects. So it wouldn't be the first time that it will, like, we're not unfamiliar with collaboration. Yeah. I think it's a really good thing.
Oh, and it's so funny that you say that, because I think also to put it in perspective of promotional products, obviously what's really huge now is kitting, right? So doing like boxes or things like that with different products. And it's pretty rare that you can get, if you're making a really cool box for like an influencer or something like that any one supplier is going to have everything that you want. And so I think it's also kind of fun to watch different suppliers that will now accept different shipments from other suppliers to do the kitting on products for you. And that requires a large amount of communication and collaboration in that. And it's not a threatening thing at all. It's like, hey, I'm totally going to work with you. I'll pick other suppliers' products. We'll put it in our product. And so as a tangible, like a visual of that collaboration, I think like boxes and kitting. I don't know why when you're talking about that, I'm like, that just came to mind. Like that's exactly, you're just putting kind of stuff from everybody into a little package and mailing it out. There's a little bit of love from everybody in their box. So
yeah. It's also really funny, like we just did this big awards project where like we got in foam from one supplier and boxes from another supplier. Like it's not kitten in the traditional way, but like when we put it together, and I'm just like looking at all these boxes that are labeled with a different one. I'm like, I kind of have new shipping supplies now, and I'm not going to say no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. So now you have a new skill in your pocket, and a new partners to partner with to make that happen. So absolutely.
Exactly. Favorite. Well, anyway, Charity, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, remember to join us for PromoChat Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. And Charity, where can we can find you everywhere on the internet, but would you like to get the highlight reel?
No, I'm pretty easy to find. If you need me and you're in the promotional products group, just tag me. And I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. That's a new one. I don't know. Anywhere. And then obviously
test it out.
Gratuitous self-promotion. Obviously the new Badass Women of Promo podcast, nominate a woman to be a badass. And
it's a fun podcast to be on, guys. If you love this, you're gonna love our other podcast.
Thanks for having me again. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but I keep mentioning it all week long and for the last couple of weeks. Thanks for all you do for PromoKitchen, for the industry, Kate. You are a true and total rock star. So thank you.
My pleasure. And thank you for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, Maple Ridge Farms, and we look forward to seeing everyone on next week's PromoChat.
And I'm looking forward to my gummy bears. So
you and I both.
I'll share with you. I'll share.
Perfect. Take care.